All right, we have some guests, some dueling guests, and welcome back to AM Live. We have Almond Joy right here, and Almond staying cool, and we have Kia on this side, and with them are Teresa Schaefer. Oh, this is okay. Look at the TV screen right now. That is Irene Fiala, Doc. And what would you describe yourself with the APL? Like just a volunteer? You're on the board.
I'm on the board. I started off as a volunteer, and I was doing hospice care and senior sanctuary care for animals that were difficult to adopt. Mm-hmm. And then I did a little fostering, and now I'm on the board. So.
And I did a story on you better than a year ago.
Yeah.
So I should post that. So I should have posted it before that, so people could do their homework before watching.
Yeah, both unfortunately, Oscar and Martha passed.
Yes.
They were, in hospice with me. So. Yeah.
See, we'll talk about that. Teresa Schaefer Taylor. Is that a good way to put it? Because you just got married. Yes. And. What is your title there?
I'm a medical staff.
Okay.
I help take care of the animals medically, make sure that they get put on the meds when they need to be. If they need to go to the vet, I take them to the vet. Okay.
And I think I mentioned before that you're from the Ashtabula County Animal Protective League. And how many dogs are there at the APL?
Probably now over 100.
Okay. And how many cats?
I'm not even sure where that count is right now. It's kitten season, so we are getting kicked pretty hard right now.
Yeah, we've been announcing that there's a very pregnant cat on Jackson Street in Connie, and if it's anybody's cat, I don't think anybody's going to claim the cat, but it would be nice if they did. 645-4425, because the people are concerned about it. So I was talking to the animal advocate, Tammy Dondorfer, before about the population of the animals and stuff. And there was a kind of a discussion a while ago that maybe you don't let any animals out without being spayed or neutered, correct? Right? And that somewhere along the line would pay dividends, that there would be fewer animals at the shelter. Is that come to fruition at all?
I think it has, yes, over the years. There's been a lot of times a couple years ago, a lot of times at this time of year, we've actually had to put dogs outside because we just didn't have
that's right.
Because we didn't have any place to put them. And
that outside area.
Up front, yeah. I mean, they were protected from the sun and everything. They had dog houses, but...
There was some boy they put trees up as a Boy Scout thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. So things are maybe a little bit better?
Yes, I think there has been a decline in what we've been taking in as strays, and hopefully that means also, people are getting more educated on keeping their animals at home and fenced in, and also, so.
Yeah, people should not be out there letting their dogs go, run, and hoping they're going to come home.
Correct.
Yeah. So where do you get most of your dogs? Are they cats? Is it people bringing them in, or is it strays that somebody found?
Most of our dogs come from the dog warden. She brings us in most of our dog population, but people call her to pick up the stray dogs. Our cats, a lot of them come from the public. They find stray cats, they make appointments, they bring the cats in, they take them in. That's how most of them come in.
Okay. And we have the website is what?
ACAPL.org.
Okay, and you can look at all of the dogs and cats online there.
Yes, we do have a searchable engine for both dogs and cats, and then also if you go to petango.com, you can put in the zip code, so 44004, and that will also give you all of the available dogs and cats in the geographic area, including our shelter, including others.
And they're pretty good, because sometimes I go and I shoot videos of the animals, and I just kind of write down their names, and I can go back and look online and get the information that I need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That dog.
Almond Joy. I have volunteered with the APL and done some running and stuff, and I've taken both these guys out. Yeah, so And for some reason, after I take them once, I would just open the door and they start barking and get happy.
Here, get here.
Get back up there, Almond
Now
Joy.
sit down beside. You
Hey,
better sit.
sit.
Sit down.
Sit.
Get your
There you
left
go.
foot. There you
What kind of condition are most of the animals that come in?
We do get some of them, I mean, that are in very good shape. They're not all in bad shape, but we do get some of them. A lot of it right now this year, it's flea allergies. A lot of it's fleas where they're losing their hair just from not being proper flea products put on. And then parasites, but I mean, and most of them are in pretty good shape.
And those are easily taken care of?
Yes, actually, yes, it's very easily taken care of.
So when an animal comes into the shelter, what is done? What's the procedure? I know that they're given certain shots and stuff before they ever go into the general population.
Yes, cats are usually tested for feline leukemia, feline AIDS, and feline heartworm. They get their vaccine, they get frontline or flea product put on them, and then they get a basic dewormer. The dogs, it's basically, they're tested for heartworm disease. They get their basic vaccine, a Bordetella vaccine, wormer, and a flea product put on them. And then we also monitor to see if there's anything medically that they may need something for skin conditions, or if they're coming in with a limp, or anything like that they may need to go see a vet for.
Okay, and you have a vet, don't you, that is there?
Yes, she actually cut down her hours just recently, so she's not there as often anymore,
Okay.
but she still does come in.
Does she has a practice somewhere and comes in as the vet?
I don't know exactly if she has her own practice. I'm not sure now
Okay.
that. I know she has her own rescue, but I don't know about her
Oh,
own
okay.
practice.
Okay, I see. All right. So I know, and the procedures have had kind of been done. I can remember, and it's kind of a scary situation, but a couple of times I would go there, and the place would be closed because of parvo. And I was there and they discovered it, and I had my dog there at the time, and the people told me, you go home, take your clothes off once you get in there, give your dog a bath, take a shower, get all your clothes washed. And I haven't seen parvo for several years. Is it you found the right cleaning and things to do to make sure that doesn't happen?
Yes, that's why we follow our guidelines, especially with our puppies. We used to let people take the puppies outside for walks and everything, and now if they're under 6 months, they have to have 3 vaccines before they're allowed out on the floor for their protection, so they don't get parvo. Any of our younger dogs under a year have to have 2 vaccines before they go outside for their own protection. And then we don't let people walk into the cages anymore because you can carry parvo in on your shoes and not even know that you have it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Almond Joy definitely needs an active family.
Yes,
She
definitely
is
need
just,
an active
all she
family.
wants to do is run. She's very energetic,
So it's tough being in a cage. I have been in a cage with those dogs, I will admit that.
But you had the option to leave when you
Exactly,
were.
yes. But their dogs would be scared and tails be between their legs, so I just kind of crawl in and sit with them for a while.
Yeah.
It's just it's okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about Almond Joy.
Almond Joy is a more higher energy dog. She would be better in a household with children over 10. She would definitely need a meet and greet. If you had another dog, she'd probably be better with a male dog.
Okay.
If
So a
she-
meet and greet means,
You have to bring your dog out.
and you're
to
both
meet
on
her.
leashes, and they kind of,
Yes.
and if they seem to get along.
Yeah, we have a play yard also after they do the first initial meet. If it works out, that we think she's going to be okay, then we can take them out in the play area. We keep them on the leashes
Mm-hmm.
and let them start playing together just to see how that's going to be. And then after a while, we'll take the leashes off of them and let them run. But we always want to make sure the safety of both animals, the doctor's animals and our animals are our main concern.
Okay. How long has she been in the shelter?
Almost a year,
Oh, that's a long time.
but
Nope.
she's still a good girl.
Yeah. It's amazing. I don't think human beings could be that resilient when being in cages. And I know there are people that walk them, and I try to get there. I don't get there. my goal is to get there today because I'm getting off work early today and do some running. But even so, I get 3 or 4 dogs to take them, and that's all you can do. And then there's these other dogs. They're jumping in the cage. They're going nuts.
You're not a lap dog. Yes, I am. Get over here.
She decides if she's a lap dog or not.
Yes.
Sit, don't.
Cheater.
Yeah, you just relax there.
High energy.
But she's doing pretty good for being in there almost a year.
Yes, actually she's doing very, very well. A lot of our dogs, especially the pit bull breeds, do not do well in cages. They start to lose weight, they start to spin.
Yeah, I've noticed that. And they jump up in the air and...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the cages are okay. It's better than running outside, but...
It's not like being free at a home where you can go out for walks every 3 or 4 times a day, 5, 6 times a day. You know, you have somebody to play with you every day.
Right.
To burn off that high energy.
How often do they go? Do all the dogs go out at least once a day?
Oh, but definitely at least once. All the ones that are allowed out definitely get out at least once. A lot of them twice or two or 3 times. We try to get them out as often as possible.
How does it, do you depend on the volunteers for that? Or you've got staff that takes them out like...
We do have our staff members when they clean in the morning. They do put them out when they're cleaning, while they're cleaning until they get done cleaning. And then our staff members in the afternoon try to help put some more out throughout the afternoon. And then our volunteers do help us greatly with taking the dogs out and walking them.
Yes. So how do you take them out when you really can't have 2 dogs, or do you know that you take 2 dogs that they don't get along together out at the same time?
Yes, if they actually get in the same cage together, they can go out together at the same time. Our cage is also out front. They are gate or fenced and separated.
Right.
So, and we do have to keep, you know, if we know a dog's not dog friendly, and we're not going to put it next to another dog that's not dog friendly.
Right.
We're going to try to put, you know, next to a milder dog that's more dog friendly, so it's not going to say, it's going to say, who cares, I don't care that you're next to me.
I've noticed that in the last year or so that there are more with the cages are a good size, but then there's a shut down in the middle of them. And it used to be that would be open and 2 dogs would be sharing a larger space. And it seems more like they're shut down more, and the cages, you know, they don't have the company of other dogs. Was there a problem there?
No, we're just so overpopulated. It's just kind of the staff members and everything trying to get dogs together. It takes some time, so I mean, we still do work on that, and we still do try to get them together and everything. So
I always like it when there are 2 dogs together, because I know I can take 2 out at a time then, and get that many more dogs exercise. What I usually do, and I don't do it as much as I had before because of time problems and whatever, but is I take a dog or 2 dogs out, run them down the street, do a couple miles with them. I try to keep up so that it's not just walking, to burn some energy, and then come back and get a couple more dogs and a couple more dogs. But if there's one in the cage and they can't go out with another dog, then you're cutting down the number of animals you take out.
Sure, right. And you know, the more populated the shelter is, the harder it is to, you know, keep them calmed and so forth. They become more stressed with the increased noise and the increased commotion, and it's just, again, we want them to be successful at the shelter and then have a successful adoption. So it's if we can keep them calmer, and yeah, I know.
Sometimes when you take them out though, and they're jumping up and down, and you take them out and you come back and they're jumping up and down again.
Right.
I mean, they
want out. You know, think about, you know, your kids, you know, sitting there going cabin crazy. You know, all winter long, your kids are indoors and they want, you know, I want to go out, I want to go out. Well, this is their life.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And we always remind people, you know, never judge them on their cage behavior.
Right, yeah.
You know, they can be excited behind the cage, they can be intimidating behind the cage, but they are an entirely different dog once they get outside of the cage.
Absolutely. And there, you know, we were talking about volunteers, and there are people there I know that are volunteering, and they're there before I get there, and when I'm gone, they are still there. They spend a day taking out dogs and going in the cat room and petting the cats and all that sort of thing.
Oh, we have some amazing volunteers.
And so how do you go about being a volunteer if you aren't?
Well, we do have a volunteer application process. There is an application form, and we basically want to get the information in terms of their contacts and do they have any skill set that they would like to, share with us. Are they interested in fundraising? Are they interested in walking dogs, cuddling cats? Or would they be willing to help clean, do dishes and so forth? So again, looking for different things that volunteers would want to do. They do have to be shelter trained, so they would meet with our volunteer coordinator, Tim Rillahan, who's also on the board. And it's about, Teresa, about an hour process. And it's basically learning how to get dogs out of cages, safely, and some of the basic rules and protocols in terms of how to handle the pets. Again, for their safety as well as for the safety of the animals. And once they've completed that hour-long shelter training, then come on down, walk dogs, cuddle cats, help out at PetSmart adoption events.
Yeah, that's another thing. You have, like, you go to PetSmart or other things like the Business Expo in Conneaut, and you need people that can bring the dogs in, take them out for walks,
Absolutely.
Answer people's questions. I know I've seen the call out a lot. Is that this is going on? This festival's going on in Geneva or Ashtabula or Conneaut or whatever, and there are people out there so that we can get some dogs and give them some time out with the public.
Absolutely. And if you have 2 dogs, you need at minimum 2 people, and ideally 3 or more, because again, you want to have somebody who can man the table, so to speak, in terms of answering questions, collecting donations, perhaps even selling merchandise. And then somebody to walk the dogs around. They need to be potty, they need to be, again, taken care of. And so we don't want to leave anything unattended, and we want to make sure that every pet, ideally has a handler.
Kia, come on, people. Somebody said, look at Kia, so cute.
I know, isn't
I
it?
know, I just want to go over there and give Kia a big kiss on the nose.
Yeah.
But when you're hosting a show like this, it's right in the claws.
Well, you can come to the shelter and hug and kiss her all you
Yeah,
want.
yeah, I have.
Yeah, she's
I
been
talked to
waiting
him.
almost a year too. Yeah, Kia.
Mama just get me.
There was, this kind of a goofy story, but there was a sweet little dog that was at the shelter. And I used to take her out once in a while. This was a while ago. Hold on.
You're fine.
And one day we're running, and all of a
She didn't
sudden,
fall. She jumped.
all of a sudden it starts to hail like crazy. And so this little dog and I jumped into a ditch. And I covered her up during the hail, and we got out and we went back to the shelters. A couple of days later, a little girl, maybe like 12 years old, and they're going to adopt this little dog. And I told her the story, and I said I always call her Haley now because we were in a hailstorm together. And she says, I think I'll call her Haley too. So, but hopefully Haley's still with us.
That's sweet.
Yes. Oh. Here. I can give you a kiss, yeah. You need a kiss? Give me a kiss. Yes.
Did you kiss do everything on the table?
Yes, can you tear everything off the desk? Yeah, I'm not that well organized as it is without your help.
Come on.
You talk, Doc, about the hierarchy of the shelter. I mean, you talk about the board. So there's a board of directors, and what do they do? And then there's is Tammy still, is her title still an animal advocate, or is she the director of the thing, or what's all of that?
Well, in terms of the hierarchy, we are a 501c3, so we have a board of directors that oversees the operations, primarily fiduciary, and so the board is responsible for setting policy, hiring of the animal welfare director, and that's Tammy's title. Others. Veterinarian staff, for instance, and then beyond that, Tammy would hire kennel workers or medical personnel. The board is also responsible for fundraising, which is really the lion's share of board responsibilities. We're $340,000, $350,000 operation.
Yeah.
So we have to do a lot of fundraising in the
And it's very little of that is public money.
Right. We have a
People
contract.
say, oh, it's government run, and that's crazy.
No, we have a contract with the county, we have a contract with the city
So
in
they
terms
actually
of
bill
taking, right, in terms of taking in the strays from their dog wardens or their animal control officers. We do receive foundation money, so some grant money, but the rest is again through adoption fees, and every time we reduce our adoption fees, that means we also have to turn around and recapture that lost
Right.
money.
So when you have too many dogs, you have.
Yeah, and that becomes the problem.
Yeah.
When we have too many pets at the shelter, you know, the costs go up, and then we run adoption fee specials or something like that to try to reduce the population. So at the time when our expenses are higher, our income is actually lower. And so again, these fundraisers are vital to the operation of the shelter.
What, tell us about Kia, because we know the background all right. Tell us about Kia.
Well, Kia is a shepherd mix here, or lab mix, and she's about 5 years old. She's very shy. She takes a little bit to warm up to you. She's initially a little on the nervous or reserved side. She's very calm. She doesn't like other dogs a whole lot, and she's not a big fan of cats either. So she would really need to be an only pet. And she's been at the shelter for about a year.
So this, unless there's something really medically wrong or there's a severe behavioral problem, you don't kill animals.
We do not euthanize, or we have not euthanized for space for quite some time. I know that we have not euthanized.
So that's going to be a real juggling act.
Yeah. You know, the only time we do euthanize is for severe medical issues or aggression, you know. And in terms of maintaining the population, when we do get overcrowded, we look towards rescues. We try to utilize our foster network system as fully as possible. Again, we promote the animals. We may go a little bit further out in terms of, you know, doing adoption events. Where can we bring our pets and expose them? The more exposure that they have, and people see that, you know, they're not broken. These are great animals.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Again, they have.
If you and I went through what they do sometime,
Absolutely.
would we be as well adjusted as they are?
Absolutely. And here's the, you know, again, this sweet girl's been living in a cage for almost a year, you know, and it's through no fault of her own. She was found as a stray, and looking for her home. And again, she does have, you know, not exactly dog or cat friendly, so to speak. Again, not aggressive. So just she's a little picky.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that shouldn't be a slam on her, you know.
No.
A lot of us are a little picky. So.
That shouldn't be a huge problem.
Yeah.
Oh, look at her looking.
I know. Like I said, she takes a little bit to warm up, and then as soon as she warms up, she just gives you those big soft brown eyes and says, you know, love me forever. Yeah. You know.
Teresa, tell me about when people go into the shelter, what are they do they seem to be looking for? They all want puppies?
A lot of them want puppies or younger dogs, yes, that's what a lot of people want. Sometimes people will come in and they'll want the perfect dog. Well, you're not going to get the perfect dog out of a shelter.
No.
We can't tell you if that dog's housebroken. We don't know if that dog's going to chew when you take it home. Because a lot of them come in as strays. So
Yeah.
we don't know how they're going to be in a household environment.
But if they went to a pet store, they're going to have the same problems, though, right? I mean, they're going to,
Right.
yeah. And who knows how they were treated
Right, exactly.
in a puppy mill.
Right, like Doc said earlier, we always tell people, do not judge the dog by the cage behavior. If the dog, because we do have dogs that act up a little bit in their cage, but once they get out of their cage, they're a totally different dog.
Yeah.
Totally, they're the most friendly dog. You wouldn't even believe that they acted like that in their cage, and you're like, why?
So if people want to adopt a dog, what are the costs?
They have to go through the adoption process, of course.
Right, and let's do that. Let's talk about the adoption process, because I think some people think you got a lot of dogs, you got a lot of cats. If I come in here and want a cat or a dog, you should kiss my feet, and I'll throw you $20 and everything's well. And it really can't be that way.
Well, you know, our interest is successful adoptions. We want our pets going into homes where they're going to stay in those homes. They're going to be provided for in terms of their veterinary needs. They're going to be provided for in terms of their social needs, their physical needs. And again, you know, that's our goal, is successful adoptions. And somebody who is not interested in providing for those, you know, biological, psychological, sociological kinds of needs of animals, well, we're just going to end up getting them back. You know, it's going to be unsuccessful. The dogs are going to, if they get loose, if they're not properly, again, provided for in terms of their physical environment, if they get loose, they could be hit by a car, they could be, you know, attacked by other animals. They may be threatening to a person's, you know, if they have livestock or their children, and again, somebody might retaliate against them. Loose pets can be teased and taunted, and so again, we want to make sure that they're going into a safe environment in that respect. But
So you do like a background check, right?
Well, we don't do a background check. We do a veterinarian check.
Right.
So we want to make sure, again, in terms of their physical needs, you know, we want to see that they're going to be provided their necessary vaccinations, and there are state laws regarding rabies.
So you say you had other animals, what's your vet's name so that you can check?
Right, make sure that those animals again are provided for, because we don't want to see, you know, anything bad happening to them. You know, Teresa and the staff, you know.
Well, they got horror stories. I know.
Well,
I've been there when someone come in.
But on the other hand, you know, they fall in love with these animals. You know, they're providing daily care for them, and so you know they want to make sure that if I'm going to have this pet go into somebody's home, that they're going to provide them the level of care that they were receiving at the shelter.
And I know you can't talk about this whole crazy bow tie thing that we had the video on before we started, but at the end of the video I show the staff photo with bow tie. So, and bow tie was, he really looked cool in that picture. He looked kind of dashing.
Oh yeah.
Almost like on Titanic when the wind.
No, these guys become very important, and we're interested in successful adoptions, not just any adoption.
Right, correct.
So who knows how much the pricing there? I go there, my dog, I've been approved. How much does it cost to adopt an animal?
Is it
puppies right now are $160.
Yeah.
Plus the county tag fee if you live in Essex County.
Mm-hmm.
That's puppies under 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
6 months to 8 years is $100 plus your county tag fee, and then if they're over 8 years old, I do believe it is $50.
Are they still doing that?
I can't remember.
I thought it was all adult. Well, I was gonna say you would know better.
And what about cats?
Cats at $75.
Okay.
Or 2 for $100. Or unless they changed that. they just changed the pricing, so I'm not exactly sure if they've changed all of it.
But you're looking at, you know, pets that are fully vaccinated,
Yeah,
and spayed or neutered.
Right.
You know, they are microchipped. So
that's not bad because no animal leaves the APL without being spayed or neutered.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And that alone is to spay or neuter your own pet is more than the adoption fee at the shelter, and that's again why we have to engage in fundraising, because the fees do not even cover the cost of care.
I cannot remember, but I did something I think at the end of last year with Tammy, the director, and it's like how much money they put into an animal, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, that they get $100 or $150 back. So it's not like you guys are making money on it.
Oh, absolutely not. We lose money on every pet.
Every animal.
Every pet that leaves the shelter, we technically lose money on. You know, if I hate saying it like that, because it's, you know, they're not products.
Right.
Yeah. But we invest a lot in terms of, again, their veterinarian care, their food. You know, again, it's these guys eat. You know, when you have 250 animals at a shelter, you know, we're going through 250 pounds of food, you know, basically per day.
Yeah, they go through 250 pounds of dog food a day, I know that. And then you have the cat food.
And then you have the cats, yeah.
And then you have the cat food that you use also for the sick animals, and to help also keep them, to encourage the cats to keep eating and the dogs to keep eating and everything when they get sick.
And if they get sick, you know, they need IVs, so, you know, get the fluid resuscitation.
There are, besides volunteers, which they always need, there's always stuff they need, and one of them is like soft food, canned dog food, and that cat food for animals that are older, sick, or to get them to eat, or to take in their medicines.
Yes.
So what else do they need, like office supplies and it?
Paper towels and bleach is the number one of our main two things that we go through a lot. We do our laundry every day is washed, and we go through tons of laundry because they all get cleaned like this every day. And we use bleach in every laundry load, so bleach is always a definite.
Kitty litter.
Kitty litter is another one. We always run out of kitty litter.
You're fine, sweetheart.
And all the choices I'm not on top.
It's too bad Almond Joy isn't more affectionate.
Yeah, you know, we've been working on that, so you need to become a little bit more affectionate.
Ah, if you want a dog that's gonna love you.
Okay, you're fine.
She's a big lap dog. She thinks she is.
The saddest thing for me there are the old dogs.
Yeah, and that's,
Like old beagles. I mean, what kind of human beings? And they're passing it on to their kids probably. The dog gets old, let's take it to the shelter. Maybe we'll get another dog.
yeah. We have a number of seniors right now at the shelter, and that's not the way they should be spending their golden years.
No.
You know, they should be laying at
Scared
somebody's
in a-
house, you know, laying at their
on the
feet,
couch.
on the couch, you know, watching television, sitting up, you know, by a bonfire or something, but they should not be, you know, on a concrete floor. Well, we do have the Kuranda beds, but they should not be living in a cage.
No.
Thank you.
No animal should be living
No,
in a
no,
cage.
but especially at that age. And if you're a younger dog or a puppy, you have a better chance.
Yeah.
How do the older dogs fare?
We actually have, you know, fairly good adoption rates for some of our older pets. You know, again, some look at the seniors and think, well, you know, this is a pet that may have 2 or 3 years, and I want to make sure that they have a great 2 or 3 years, however long that might be. And sometimes it's these here, like Kia, the 5-year-old category that tends to get overlooked because they're middle-aged. You know,
Right.
it's.
Well, it can't be because you're not good looking, because you're good looking.
You're a sweetheart.
Oh. We both know somebody that takes in a lot of the older dogs and ill dogs and all. And that would be you.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, that. Nice one. Yeah, that would be me.
Because like I said, I did a story on you, and it's got to be, because you take them and you, to say you get attached to them would be an understatement.
It would be an understatement. Yeah, yeah. It would
So
be
you
an
take in animals, but a lot of times, okay, here's an animal, and we don't think he's going to live more than a week, a month, or whatever. And you got him for a few years.
Yeah, Oscar, my Oscar boy Oscar, he came to me. They expected him to have maybe 2 to 4 weeks tops because of his cancer, and he was found emaciated. He had a poor body score, found as a stray, and he lived 4.5 years. So, yeah. And since he recently passed, you know, I still wait to hear the thunking of the tail because this, you know, you met Oscar.
Sure, I did.
His tail never stopped wagging, and I think he knew that. Again, he was out of the shelter and he was in a home where he was, you know, truly loved. And you know, like I said, I still.
It's not like they're there and they're in a room by themselves.
Oh no.
No, they're up on your couch and I'm sure bed and everything else.
Oh yeah.
One of the great controversies, and you know, everybody knows how to run the APL better than the APL. One thing people would talk about is they want a dog and they want to leave it outside. And you do not allow animals, you're not going to adopt out an animal to somebody that's going to leave it outside all the time.
No, and actually our policies are based on best practices as found in the animal sheltering community. There is an entire body of literature that speaks to animal sheltering. What are the best practices? What are shelters across the United States doing? What are shelters that are similarly situated doing? And we are following best practices in the field today. So, and that is that animals that are indoors, living with families, are better socialized. They're better cared for. And again, this is what the research is showing, that they are more likely to be integrated into that family when they're left outside. Again, dogs have been domesticated for 80,000 years. They are bonded to humans, and they feel that, you know, they're part of your family, and they don't understand why, if I'm your family, am I out here by myself? We, you know, oftentimes refer to pack, you know, dogs are pack animals. Oftentimes, erroneously, people describe, you know, this wolf pack system, and again, that is based on ideas from 30, 40 years ago, which no longer are found.
Yeah, I'm just reading about that. You're right.
Yeah, that's old school. And again, because of human domesticating pets, you know, they want to be with us. And a pet that's also inside with the family is less likely to be aggressive. You know, we do have an anti-tethering ordinance in the city of Ashtabula, for example. We know that animals that are tethered outside, again, are going to be very protective of their property. Got a loogie?
You gotta quit smoking.
Yeah. Are protective of their property, more likely to be aggressive because, again, they're limited to how they can escape if they're approached. They're more fearful. So again, there's an entire body of literature that says pets need to be, the dogs need to be indoors. Cats need to be indoors because cats, again, hit by car, people think they're a stray, they pick them up, they get into fights, they're susceptible to birds of prey attack. You know, again, people don't think about, you know, that hawk might come down and pick up my kitty, or that person who sees my cat outside thinks it's a stray and I'm going to take it to the shelter. Cats aren't microchipped. So your cat may actually have been brought to the shelter, and after the mandatory 72-hour hold period, which is state law, that pet can be adopted. Meanwhile, you think your cat's, you know, out there mousing. So again, we want them indoors.
Which, one thing I was going to ask earlier is if my dog were picked up, and how long would one have to pick up the animal? You know, my dog's missing, so I naturally go to the shelter to see if it's there. How long do I have to pick up the animal, and how much would it cost? And then there's a certain point where you have to readopt your animal.
Yes, it's 72 uninterrupted hours. I'm not exactly sure what the fees are.
But my dog, you're going to do all of the injections and all that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yes, we try to give them.
And there's a cost to that.
Yes, and actually, our return to owner fee doesn't cover. That doesn't even cover the cost of the injections and all that. Now, dog is licensed, and you do have a current county tag, which is state law that your dog is supposed to have a county tag on it. Then it's 14 days you have. But if your dog is not licensed, it's 72 uninterrupted hours.
Okay.
But if your dog has a county tag on, then we should only have it until it comes in. We get order out of the department, find out that it's your dog, get your information, call you and say, hey, your dog's here.
Now, I was told, this was a long time ago, I had a discussion with somebody at the shelter that isn't even there anymore, that they're surprising how many animals that are lost that people own and they don't even bother.
No.
Oh yeah.
We've actually had dogs come in with their nails painted, their toenails painted.
Well, I've seen that.
So we know that some little girl obviously loved that dog, and the owners did not ever come for that dog, not ever. Dog come in great shape, excellent shape, and it's amazing. People just think, I think people think that, oh, my dog's too wonderful, people that turn him into the APL. Well, a lot of people have their own animals, so they don't really want your animals. So if you are missing a dog, please come out to the shelter and fill out a last report.
I'll enjoy it, likes what you're saying.
Hey,
Teresa, tell me that again.
Somebody look for me. And it also speaks to having your dog microchipped.
Yeah.
You know, you want to have the pet microchipped, and you want to make sure that that information is always current, because any dog that comes into the shelter is going to be scanned for a microchip.
The APL does microchipping too.
Yes.
Yes.
And what's the fee for that?
$35.
Okay. So just think about it. You love your dog, and the dog gets loose, and right there, you're going to say, boy, I would give $35 in a heartbeat, twice that, to get my dog back. Well, you know, don't wait, because even if you keep your dog, there's times that they might get out, they might shoot through a screen door or jump out of a car. Or,
Oh, absolutely.
there's a bunny rabbit, and off they go.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, pets do get loose. And so as a responsible owner, you need to provide for that pet because they're not walking around with a driver's license on them.
No.
But we can give them the equivalent of a driver's license. And again, the first thing would be to make sure your pet has a collar with identification tags on it, the rabies tag, the county tag, because again, veterinarian information would be available through that. Your address, you can always get, you know, again, a little dog tag, whether at a Tractor Supply, at PetSmart, you're sending Milk-Bone cartons, you know.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And then on top of that, because collars can get loose or break off or fall off, you also want to make sure that you have your pet microchipped. And that is the equivalent of having that driver's license.
That's a good analogy.
On the pet, so because again, they can't talk to us, they can't tell us who they are, where they came from.
We
So
wish they could.
you have to have something to allow them to provide that information to us.
And really, for people, if you think $150 is too much to pay for an animal, if you want to leave it outside, you know, when you get an animal, it's going to cost you something. It's going to be a responsibility. You're going to have to feed the dog. You're going to be responsible for the dog. You're going to have to take the dog to the vet. It isn't always cheap. And the dog gets old and the dog gets sick and you need to be, and so, you know, it's a huge commitment, and if you aren't ready to do that, then walk away from the dog or cat.
Absolutely, and then I always, you know, think of it in terms of where are you going to be in the next 5 years of your life, the next 10 years of your life, because if your pet is, you know, like Kia is 5 years old, 7 years, 8 years, likely lifespan for her breed. So where are you going to be in those 8 years? And are you prepared to provide the kind of medical care that she might need one day? And I liken it also to other family members. You know, you have a child, your child is going to get sick, your child is going to need vaccinations. And are you going to abandon your child simply because, you know, they have the measles or the mumps? And if this were your elderly parent, you know, what are you going to do when your elderly parent has higher needs? You know, again, are you going to drop them off somewhere, or are you going to provide that care? And so these guys are family.
Right.
You know, they just happen to have 4 legs and fur. Check.
My late dog, I want to get into, but Casey was, and she was a working dog in the fact that my wife and kids would be getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning or so to go to school. My wife was a teacher, and she would be up to see that everybody got off. And then I would work second shift, and I would get home at midnight or 1 o'clock, and you could hear her as soon as I came home, plop off the bed, come in to greet me, make sure everything's okay, and then go back to bed. She'd be there to see me off. I mean, these are working animals, and they're making sure that the family's running. You know, Peter Pan, the dog in there with the kids. That's actually a little bit like what the dogs are like.
Oh, absolutely. Again, they're social beings, and you know, they need to have interaction. They need to have mental stimulation. They need to have exercise. Again, they have needs, and as responsible pet owners, you know, we have to provide those needs. Yeah.
We were talking a little bit off air. We need to kind of wrap up, but tell us some of the stuff that's coming up. I know that you have fundraisers. I know you have the Boo-Wah Walk every year in October, which is also known as the Downpour.
Yeah, you know, we put in a request to Mother Nature every year, but somehow it gets lost in the shuffle. It's almost become a tradition. It's
just pouring down rain that day.
Yeah, but it really speaks to, you know, the diehards out there who've been planning all year.
Yeah, because I do. When I haven't been participating, but I go out there and do a video, and they're all, oh, who cares? You know, the dogs love it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God, the dogs love it.
Like kids in the rain.
Yeah.
You know, they love it. And it's their day.
Right.
So
absolutely.
It's the Boo-Wow.
So what other things that's coming up in October?
That's
one of the big fundraisers.
That's our major fundraiser.
Yeah.
That and our reverse raffle in the spring now is our second major fundraiser. But we have a PetSmart adoption event next week. I believe it's the 18th. We have one August 15th, I think, and that's also in Mentor. And we have, what else? The Boo-Wow is the huge event.
Then you also have fundraisers like at the
Wagon wheel, that's usually in November.
Okay.
That's the Spay-Getty dinner,
Yeah.
and that's to promote the spay and neuter program. Again, it's we have to pay for the spays too.
Speaking of that, do you still have? Tell me about that truck that comes out and gives people. Is that still? They still do that?
No, they do not come to us anymore. But
Really?
They don't come to the shelter anymore. But they are still out there to help the public with the spay and neutering of their animals.
So how would people get in contact with them? Do you know?
They could actually call up there. We do still have the numbers for them to get a hold of the contacts. So we can still give them the phone numbers so they can get a hold of the Pet Fix program.
Okay, that's right. It's called Pet Fix. So if they can't find the number themselves, they can call the shelter and get the
Yes,
number.
absolutely. We'll definitely give.
It used to be that the
number.
big truck would come up every. I'm thinking I haven't seen it lately.
Yeah.
Right, and we just had provided for them basically the
Space.
parking facilities for their operation. They were independent of the ACPL.
Right.
So it's Pet Fix of Northeast Ohio.
But that's a way that people that may have animals now that they can get their pets neutered.
It's healthier for the pet, and in terms of the males, it reduces their desire to roam. So again,
You girls can't speak to that, can you?
No. But again, one of the reasons why we have male strays coming in is because they weren't neutered, and they were on the scent, and they took off.
And all of a sudden, where am I?
Yep. The fortunate ones are the ones in the shelter. The unfortunate ones are the ones that are, hit by cars.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're getting over it, but I know that there are times that there's some horror stories of animals that come in that have been hit by cars. Or I saw something posted where somebody punched a cat or something.
Yes.
Kicked a cat.
Kicked a cat. Yesterday, we just got a phone call from City Animal Control where somebody had kicked a cat in the head. I'm not exactly, took the cat immediately to the vet. We'll know more about if the cat's going to need pins put in the jaw and what's going to go on more, but it was a pretty sad situation that an adult human
Idiot.
could kick a defenseless cat in the head like that. I mean,
And according to the website, he wished he could have kicked it harder.
that's, I guess.
How would you like to be around this guy? How would you like to be this guy's neighbor? So that's another thing we're talking about. They need paper towel and bleach and all, but donations come in.
Yes,
And look, when you take a cat or a dog to the vet, that costs just like it costs the people. So donations are always needed.
Oh, absolutely. Because, again, the facilities that we have available at the shelter for veterinarian care are very basic. We do the spay and neuter for, if we have a hit by car, we don't have an x-ray machine. We don't have, that kind of equipment. So we have to go to area vets to provide those services. And we pay just like anybody else does. So,
If people want to know more, they can go to acapl.org, and there's a Facebook page where you can find out things about dogs and who's got adopted and that sort of thing. So you can go to the Facebook page as well.
Right. And we put all our events up there, and that is updated daily.
Okay.
So
Good. It's the nice thing about Facebook, you can easily update things.
Yes.
stuck in traffic, update Facebook.
All right, well, thank you, Doc. Irene Fiala and Teresa Schaefer-Taylor, congratulations. We got wrap. How many animals do you have?
I have two foster failures.
Okay.
My second one actually come in with having seizure disorders, and so now I have a dog with seizures.
Okay, yeah. And how many do you have?
I have fosters, two
Yeah.
fosters.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, well, thank you for coming in, and we will be back with more of it. You guys are so cute.